What's up, everybody? How all is doing? Hope all is well, and if not, hope you can get back on track sooner or later, so you can add to your thing. You know what I mean? I know style. Welcome back to the discussion, my hip hop discussion. You know what I mean? Where we at? Part 9. Now this one, a few will get rich, and everybody else will suffer. That's the title of this one, and I titled that one because the psy-opp is to get as much people, as much souls caught up into the trap. It's in this matrix system that we are in. Confused and, become a commodity. So I'm asking, is hip hop a psy-opp, a psychological operation on young minds? Because as you can see, a few will get rich and everybody is suffering. The few top rappers, making all the music, making all the hits, and nobody else can really get through or get on. And no matter what they do, no matter how real their life is, all the things they go through, put their pain and their struggles in their demos and their music. You know what I'm saying? And you just always see the nicest people never getting nowhere. And even if they make a budge, they're starting getting in trouble from activities because karma is real. And karma is always collected. You know what I'm saying? So to seek the balance, to seek the win, it's all about choices and decisions. But there's a big influence out there, And as you can see, the hip-hop has a lot of influence on the people ever since it got popular in the early 90s. Started out late 70s, got big in the 80s, and in the 90s, that's when it blew up. But at the same time, in the 90s, they were trying to run a play or trying to get control of the next generation coming up or the youth. Because the youth is the next generation. If you can control them and have them thinking a certain way, they can have society goes a certain way. And a long time ago, I was reading something. And they said for this economy, it has to have a war, has to have craziness going on so they can continue, so it can continue to grow. And I'm like, well, why would the system want to have war? Well, that's crazy on the people. But while you're discombobulated, they're setting the standards. They're setting the stages and setting everything up how it's supposed to be for them to continue what they're doing. I call it the matrix system. What else can it be? A system, right? That's in control. And they have different parts of the system. And I just discussed the hip-hop part. Because when I met hip-hop, I didn't see what was going on. But I met hip-hop in 93. So that's after they started pushing their propagandas and situation. But I'm a conscious brother. I've always been conscious. So I have vibrations, and I always wondered certain things, why the music went a certain way, Or even over the years, if you notice, conscious rap fell behind, and more of a grimy, gritty rap started going up more. Because the conscious rap is more party, more knowledgeable, seeking information. It's all peace, it's all love, But remember, in the 90s too, the mid-early 90s, we had the reality rap talking about how it is for survival, doing those political commentary raps to get people aware of what's going on. But now, as I remember, because I'm from the 90s, the music started actually painting pictures of poverty and, survival and doing the different crimes to make it a way, to finding a way. Now, some people are successful and other people's are not. And that's a whole nother psy-op. In that system, come to think about it, and seeing documentaries talking about the 80s and the 90s, you know? But just staying on topic of the hip-hop discussion, and the few will get rich and the rest will get poor, just think about it. All these big name rappers, all the lyrics, what they talk about, the direction they're pointing. Because, you know, the top music of hip-hop is what? Drill. The 90s ended with murder music. Throughout the 90s, it was a hustle mentality of survival, do what we got to do, you know, be in the streets, activities in the streets, doing street things. Remember, at the end of the day, it's all choices. You choose to do what you want. But as a kid, though, right, do something lead you to that path? You know, ideas, visions from painted pictures you can see coming from influences. Because remember, I'm always going to go back to that talk that Busy Bone was talking about when they had that group and how they was using hip-hop to make it a pipeline to prison because they were making more prisons throughout the country. And they need to keep the prisons filled. And how you going to do that? You know? Exactly. Look at my clip. I'm just saying. Look what they said. They had their meeting. Right? And it's crazy how money is it the root of all evil? Or what will you do? Make it the root of all evil for that green, for that paper. Would you lead the people astray for that money? You know? But I'm just saying, though, I'm just talking because you can look at the history and see what's been going on the last 20 years. See the direction things have been going, you know? And if you want simultaneously, look at reality. Look at survival. Look at the cost of living. Things are always going up. It's always inflation, right? It's always inflation. Never deflation, never stop. That by all means necessary. Why are they doing that? To keep their foot on our necks and keep us down. And stay ahead. Stay in control. Using whatever system they can to throw the people off to see the truth behind things that's happening. You know? Because I say a few will get rich, because if you notice, a few people is on into the hip-hop industry. A few people is top notch. And we all cheer them and support them. You know what I mean? But these people have contract with these corporations that's milking them for everything they got. You know what I'm saying? And it trickles up. Because they getting their crumbs. The execs getting a little bit more. But then the execs got to pay much more to the big corporations. You know? But within their little term, they're rich. And everybody else that's vibing, sporting, is suffering. Look at the reality. Look at our lives. And you know, I'm not saying everybody's suffering. There's people that's very successful. But then, opposed to that, there's people that's not successful. And there's people that's going through the situation and struggling. And then, for the target audience, the young ones, their decision making, choices, life, how you want to live, the life you want to live, you, what you want to do, your goals, accomplish, all these things. You know what I'm saying? Because remember, it's better to set yourself up to know what you want so you can set yourself up as a person, a younger adult, that growing up and then trying to figure it out. But if you're distracted with different influences, different pictures that's painted, different ideas, some kid gets distracted, some people is thrown off. Remember, the reality is all about survival. So not every young one has the guidance or support for them. Some young kids are on their own looking at reality as they see it, as they know it. As they see it, as they know it from their understanding because they're living in the situation. You know what I mean? So going through the struggles, influences will come. And those that's getting rich will influence the poor to support their baba. And look at what's going on. Look at society. You know what I mean? Look at the vibrations. So that's what I'm asking. Is hip hop a psy-opp? You know what I mean? But I'm always gonna preach that you have to know what you want, or you have to live the life that you want. You see, everyone has a talent. You have to find your talent, and that talent will get you the bag. Now, if your talent is supposed to be an author, someone that speaks, make music, someone that raps, and spit a vibration out, then it's up to you to cure that, get that nice as possible, and make it survival. Don't get used by it. Don't get controlled by other people by it. You know what I'm saying? Remember, they're going to dangle all that money in front of you and also give you options. Now, the choice is yours. Whatever choices you make, you have to live with that. You know what I mean? You hear all the horror stories, contracts. You see the good stories, but you hear the horror stories. So you think some of those good stories are actually horror stories that you don't know about? But it looks good to the eye until it blows up in the end. You know what I mean? So all those rich rappers influencing and going in the direction they're going, knowing that they're influencing a whole generation because those generations supports them. You know what I mean? Is it part of the system? That's why they do that and have to do that? My guess, yes. What is y'all? I'm just holding the vibe, you know what I'm saying? Have y'all think about things. So this whole hip-hop discussion, this playlist, it's just a vibration. You know me, how I feel, I put it out here. Why not? Why hold it in? And now, is the psy-opp coming to an end because we're waking up? Because we see rich rappers going to jail, they're getting killed. Then the one that's supposed to be rich, we hear that they're in contracts for life and they're not rich because there's a 360 deal where whatever they do, a portion goes back to the contract. You know what I mean? So people get themselves in all situations. So really got to worry about you and yourself and don't get caught up. Because especially if you're talented, if you can make money and people can smell it on you, and if they can use you, if they can get you caught up, trapped in these situations, doesn't matter about your mental. It's all about what you can do. And then it's up to you to what you want, you know what I'm saying? What you're willing to do. Get caught up and trapped up, or live a life free, where you can just be. You know what I mean? This is another installment of my hip-hop discussion, y'all. Drop a comment if you're vibing, y'all. And, yeah, check out the other ones. We're at 9 right now. So check out the other 8 episodes. And I also have a couple more coming up as well. You know, I have my list of conversations to have. It's just about time when I'm able to sit back and put forth what I'm trying to say, because this life, we are trying to win. I'm trying to win. And I was blinded. I was caught up in the matrix at one point. But it's all about realization. And what y'all getting is a part of the understanding I have from my realization. So I'm having these discussions, you know what I mean? And I'm just asking the question, is hip-hop a psy-opp? A psychological operation on young minds? And hey, think about that. Drop a comment if you're vibing, or just think about it on yourself, on your own. You know what I mean? So like, share, subscribe. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. It helps. And on that note, I catch you on the next vibration, CLP. Holding the vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's all up.